Welcome to Wintrust Arena and to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago's 2019 Commencement Ceremony. At this time, we ask that all phones and devices be silenced or turned off and that you refrain from flash photography. Out of respect for all participants in our ceremony, please remain seated throughout its entirety. We have a big finish planned for after the names of all the graduates have been read, and you won't want to miss it. Thank you, and let the ceremony begin.
to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago's 2019 commencement. I'm Martin Berger, SAIC's Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs, and it's my honor to stand here today as your MC. In celebration of your accomplishments, we will have speeches, awards, and honorary degrees, and a few surprises. But the centerpiece of today's commencement is you, walking across this stage while your family and friends, your classmates and faculty, and I celebrate all your achievements. 153 years ago, when a small group of artists began what would become SAIC with a smattering of classes, they could not have imagined the depth of scholarship, array of disciplines, or social engagement that you, our soon-to-be graduates, have shown in your study and practice at SAIC. I know that I speak for the faculty and staff when I note that the spring is an extraordinarily, overwhelmingly emotional time of year. Yes, we are happy to have the rush of final critiques and grading behind us, but we are also profoundly sorry to say goodbye to students with whom we have worked and watched develop for years. Even though your formal studies may have concluded, you are ready for what comes next. You have developed personally, creatively, and professionally. You've acquired the skills needed to create innovative art, think critically about problems, conduct research, and express yourselves in a range of media. In short, you have what is needed for the art world, the job market, and for citizenship in the 21st century. Whether you are a graduating undergraduate, post-baccalaureate, or graduate student, you are poised at the very start of an exciting chapter for which you have all the needed tools to write. So let's not waste any time. Let the ceremonies commence. To begin, I'm delighted to introduce the President of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, my colleague, Alyssa Tenney.
Thank you, Martin. You all look glorious, really fantastic. Welcome all. If you count the nearly 1,000 people graduating today, another 60 that are here on stage, including our distinguished guests, members of the Board of Governors, and about 75 people behind the scenes making everything run, then all around, family, friends, supporters, and faculty of our graduates. And finally, over 3,000 people are watching on simulcast, which is pretty mind-boggling. That's nearly 10,000 people all here for you, the class of 2019. Yeah. We are here because today is consequential. Days like today, ceremonial days, mark what has passed and what is to come. Because even if your transformation is visually undetectable, you are different. We come to college to make ourselves different. We come to acquire new skills and knowledge. You have done that. You learn to paint and sculpt, to photograph and film, to design and deconstruct, to research and to rework. You have learned these tools and techniques with an interdisciplinary framework. At the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, we teach an interdisciplinary curriculum because the world is interdisciplinary. Art and design thrive within the context of the cultures we live, the politics we negotiate, and the society we build together. When we learn about art and design, we learn about the world. So coming to college, in effect, transforms how we participate in the world. At college, we have our ingrained beliefs challenged. We unlearn our prejudices. We awaken new insights. We study to increase our sense of justice, our capacity for empathy, and the depth of our compassion. You came to college to become a citizen of the world. Along the way, you became a citizen artist. Being a citizen artist is not about which country's passport you possess. Being a citizen artist is about your awareness of the interconnectedness of all people. It means you realize that your work, your pictures, your performances, your ceramic vessels and robotic automatons, your typography and your scale models, your teaching philosophy and therapeutic method, the very stuff you make is not made in a vacuum. Your work has resonance in the world. It has presence, often physically, and it has the power to shape our imagination and catalyze our will for transformation. To be aware of this power, and actually this responsibility, is what it means to be a citizen artist. And I hope you wield your talents to do good. Now that's a contested notion. What is good, after all? No one of us knows it completely. But I can tell you that it's not about being perfect or about everyone agreeing on everything all the time. It's about the attempt to do better. It's about being engaged with the discourse of a civil society. Does that sound kind of impossible? Well, I grant that the possibility of civil discourse can feel particularly remote these days, but you can achieve it. Remember the skills you learned at SAIC. Remember the questions you asked and how you pursued them, knowing there was no definitive answer. You explored risking the safety of the known and resisting the pressure to conform. You embraced failure, trying again and again in an iterative learning process. And you learned the value of constructive critique, which demonstrates the breadth of wisdom in the community and reveals opportunities for change. As you begin your life after art school, there is neither a universal prescription for good behavior nor uniform etiquette. There are few unassailable truths, and everyday facts are contested. Nevertheless, your ability to thrive is not predicated on the world being tidy, predictable, or free of difficulty. As citizen artists, we meet the challenges of our shared society with the same creativity and resilience you practice in school. As the explorations you undertake as a citizen artist will be fascinating, surprising, and beautiful. And no matter where your path takes you, you will find fellow travelers along the way. Chief among them are the over 20,000 SAIC alums who are already part of the global artist citizenry. Through their friendship, mentorship, and example, they can help you along your path. You also find a guiding light in the examples of those who have blazed trails before you, just as each of the honorary degree recipients we welcome today has done. Dawood Bey, Isaac Julian, Chris Ware, and our commencement speaker, Merrill Laderman-Euclides. Each provide valuable lessons through their inspiring work. Finally, the most influential compass on your journey is all that you have learned from your faculty. These visionary practitioners and dedicated educators are the heart and soul of SAIC, and I would like us all to recognize them. Faculty, please stand or wave so that the class of 2019 and their guests can applaud you. Now, graduates, I would like to invite you to please stand, if you are able, and take a look around you. Come on, everybody. Now, So take a moment, take a selfie if you must. And if you do, you must tag me on my Instagram, SAIC Prez. But really, look all around you, all 360 degrees. Capture this panorama in your memory. Somewhere in this room today, you likely have a parent, a sibling, a guardian, a relative, a friend, a partner, or someone who helped you reach the threshold of SAIC. Or if your someone could not be here today, if they are far away or no longer with us, please picture them in your heart to make them, in a sense, close. These supporters knew you before your faculty and classmates did. They likely sacrificed to help you get here. They loved you before you came to college, and they are ready to embrace the citizen artists you have become. They deserve your standing ovation. You may be seated. I think we just did the exercise and commencement exercises. Even the word commencement sounds counterintuitive, coming as it does at the end of a course of study. Naturally, we are here to celebrate your hard work and all that you have accomplished. You are so deserving of our congratulations, and we give them to you sincerely and with joy. But the most important part, the sense of occasion that drew nearly 10,000 people, is the commencing, the beginning. It could not be better timed. Your contribution is needed. Beginning today, you bring your skills, talents, perception, and compassion to bear upon the world. Today, you begin your lives as citizen artists. Welcome and congratulations. And now I would like to invite to the podium the chair of the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, Anita Sinha, who has a special message for our graduating students.
Hello, students who are soon to be graduates. As Alyssa mentioned, I'm the chair of the Board of Governors at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and several of my fellow governors are here with me on the stage today. I'd like them to please stand and wave so we can acknowledge them too. Stand up. My fellow governors and I are a volunteer group of professionals, educators, artists, designers, and art lovers who are dedicated to SAIC's continuing flourishing. We are also enthusiasts. We are enthusiastic about you, the artists, designers, and scholars of the future. You are also the entrepreneurs, teachers, innovators, leaders, parents, and citizens of the future. And we are here to celebrate your graduation and all the many things that will come hereafter. What you do with your education will be as diverse as you are. You come from different backgrounds and from all over the country, and some of you came here to study from another country entirely, just like I came to the United States many years ago to pursue a doctoral degree in sociology. Just as your pasts have been diverse, where you go and what you do in the coming years and decades may surprise you. Growing up in Mumbai, India, I never would have predicted I'd become board chair of one of the greatest art schools. So be open to what your lives will become in all their unpredictability and variety. But remember that no matter where you come from or where you end up, you all share something, and that is an SAIC education. You share memories and friendships. You share a language and a faculty, and you share this moment and the great accomplishment we celebrate today. As we set our eyes toward the forward motion of your life after school, let us take a quick look backward, not for nostalgia, but as a source of strength, the bedrock SAIC experience to which you all belong. You share this experience now and always. Let us all enjoy this video reflection as told by the class of 2019.
I had that moment where I was struggling with a project, and the teacher just said something that resonated with me, and something just clicked.
Being able to serve as a resident advisor.
There was a moment I knew entirely what a lived practice meant.
My project was selected as a audience favorite work.
The opening night of my BFA show, it was my first real show.
Being in the shape and theory classes in the fashion department.
Welcome day, when they gave us the museum for ourselves.
The advanced painting open studios.
Alan Grimes.
I loved Kate Dumbleton's class.
Melika Bass and Claire Ashley.
Iker Gill.
Robert Petrick and Stephen Farrell.
Jim Termier.
Adelheid Mears.
Michael Ryan.
Stephen Hosby in painting, manga in print media.
Anne Harris.
Katrin Schnabel.
Dr. Herman Stark.
Adam Grederman.
Too many.
Multimedia.
Minimalism.
Kerning.
Decolonize.
Manifest.
Conceptual.
The community.
The kindness from my professors.
A multicultural environment.
Getting to crazy debates in class. Diversity of the students from across the world.
Walking around campus and running into friends and just talking about different projects.
Chicago, the city is your gallery, or the city is like your school in a way, so I think I'll miss Chicago.
I'm actually going to grad school immediately. Work or MFA or combined.
I'm gonna take a big break and apply for grad school.
Hopefully I'll start an alumni group of SAIC Latin America.
I plan to move to New York and then apply for fellowships and internships there.
Continuing my education in animation.
I plan to start my own production company, and I hope to give a lot of attention and face to Asian identity.
That would always be my family.
To my best friend, Lanye. Shout out to my friends who were there for me at 2 in the morning when I was struggling through a project.
My darling roommates.
All the workers and staff in SAIC, you helped us a lot.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my sister Eleanor. Yeah.
My mom.
My mom, especially, who has been a great support throughout my year at SAIC.
I wanted to thank all my professors throughout the whole years.
Definitely my dad, my mom, and my grandparents.
Thank you all faculty, and thank you all my friends.
I'd like to give a shout out to my parents, because they're the greatest people. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita, and thank you, students, for participating in that heartwarming video, which is really becoming a tradition at SAIC. It's now my pleasure to invite Vice President and Dean of Student Affairs, Felice Dublanc, up to the podium for the presentation of the Student Leadership Awards.
Thank you, Martin. Before I present the Student Leadership Awards, please join me in thanking the many staff and student volunteers led by Deans Patrick Spence and Debbie Martin, who have contributed to the success of this graduation. Each year at graduation, we pay tribute to those truly exceptional students who have dedicated themselves to building community at the school. We ask faculty and staff to submit the names of those students who demonstrate excellence in leadership and whose overall contributions to the school are recognized and appreciated by you, their fellow students. To begin, I turn your attention to the slides behind me, which list the names of those students who received honorable mention. You will also find these names listed on our website. Please join me in acknowledging their tremendous commitment to the school and to you. And now for the recipients of the Student Leadership Award. It should be noted that although these students have distinguished themselves in very unique ways, they share one remarkable quality: a sustained relationship over time with the school as opinion leaders and student advocates. I will announce the name of all the student award winners, and as they walk across the stage for their final bows, so please join me in congratulating them. Ready? Harshita Agrawal, Wilson Allen, Letitia Auguste, Ethan Backlund, Brianna Beck, Neha Bhatt, Stephanie Broussard, Casey Carsel, Apurva Chenjidia, Anita Chen, Ivy Choi, Ricardo Cobian, Shelley Davis, Kirsten Donovan, Leslie Frempong, Jesus Hilario Reyes, Morgan Italy, Hyojin Im, Aval Kaur, Joseph Left Hand, Boyoung Nam, Jayla Neely, Anastasia O'Connor, Lauren Oberlin, Sophia Paget Perez, Latrell Rostant, Dayun Ru, Ankita Singal, Carlos Salazar Lermont, Samuel Snodgrass, Haeyeon Song, Martell Tinsley, Asia Turawa, Uno Udo, Jack Van Bloom, Jess Glass Walsh, Katie Wittenberg, and Yuri Yuan. Congratulations to all our winners.
It is now my pleasure to introduce members of SAIC Student Government who will present the Faculty of the Year Awards.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jesus Hilario Reyes, and I'm joined with My name is Jesus Hilario Reyes, and I'm joined with the rest of SAIC Student Government, the students who work to represent the student body and serve the community. One of the best parts of serving on student government is hearing from the students themselves things that they truly enjoy about the school, faculty in particular. We are here today to honor 3 exceptional teachers with the SAIC Faculty of the Year Award, an award that gives students the chance to nominate faculty who have had a positive impact on their experience and have made outstanding contributions to the SAIC community. Today we will have 3 awardees, 1 full-time and 2 part-time recipients. I would like to first present the winner of the Full-Time Faculty of the Year Award. This incredibly generous person has fully committed herself to the advancement of the SAIC community as a whole. But more specifically in the school's decolonization efforts to provide a more hospitable environment for our Black and brown students. She has shown exemplary service not only to the students in her classroom, but also the broader SAIC community. This instructor has built loving and lasting relationships that extend outside the classroom and even beyond graduation. Please join me in awarding the Faculty of the Year Award to the esteemed Christina Gomez. Congratulations.
Hi everyone, my name is Haley Jimenez and I'm here to announce a Faculty of the Year Award to a professor who is astronomically cherished by his students. This person radiates kindness and is always willing to genuinely help his students excel and generate. On top of simply teaching, this recipient is always heavily invested and present in what his students have to say. Always willing to make himself accessible to every new wave of accepted and aspiring artists, this recipient opens his doors, his mind to the considerations, concerns, and thoughts of his students. On behalf of the student government and the student body, please help me in congratulating the first part-time recipient, Joseph Belknap.
Thank you. I'm just going to take one moment. Thank you for this award. It's a true honor. The greatest honor, though, and privilege has been being a part of this community and getting to work alongside so many amazing artists, thinkers, and makers. Congratulations, class of 2019, and thank you again.
Good afternoon. My name is Reginald Williamson, and I stand here on the behalf of student government to present the second part-time Faculty of the Year Award. Today I have the honor of awarding a faculty who is a brilliant teacher and uniquely approachable and compassionate. Additionally, she organizes meetings for feedback to improve our VCS program. She works as both an adjunct and grad advisor, constantly working to better each graduate's experience and improve the makings of the VCS department. Her students have placed high value on her feedback and guidance inside the classroom. This instructor has established herself as a support system and helping hand for our community. So on the behalf of student government in the class of 2019, please give a round of applause for this year's second part-time recipient, Christy Ann McGree. Christy couldn't join us today, so I have some sentiments to share. So these are her words. Teaching in the VCS department has been fundamental to how I make sense of myself as an artist and person, or perhaps to say how I situate my practice at SAIC as a rehearsal for the meaning I want to make and in the world. The students I have worked with are without parallel, in particular, a singular mix of critical integrity and artistic hybridity. I am so very humbled and honored to know them, thank them, and receive this recognition for the time we spent learning from each other. So, yeah, it's Christy.
And now we turn to the awarding of our honorary doctorates. Each of our honorary doctorate recipients this year has made remarkable contributions to the world of art, design, and scholarship. Their work is in keeping with the values of our institution, and we are deeply honored that they have accepted our invitation to receive these awards in recognition of their importance to our community and the broader art world. To introduce Dawood Bey, our first honorary doctorate recipient, is Department of Photography Professor Latoya Ruby Fraser.
Good afternoon. You all look very dapper and beautiful. This past semester, in my advanced black and white photography course taught here at SAIC, I had the joy of exposing my students to the greatness and brilliance of artist Dawood Bey. As we walked through his solo exhibition, Dawood Bey, Night Coming Tenderly Black, it was the way Dawood unveiled and demystified how an exhibition is conceived, produced, laid out, installed, negotiated, how it is the responsibility of the artist to create a context and framework around their own ideas, how Dawood himself curated a selection of 19th and 20th century photographs from the Art Institute collection that underscored the theme, African Americans' relationship to the physical and social landscape of this nation, on a wall just before you entered his show. His deliberate choice to reference a Langston Hughes poem as the show's title, and his placement of the museum didactic on a floating wall that faced the rear wall of the exhibition. It was here, in all his meticulous and generous attention to detail with my students, that I was reminded how I first met Dawood. We met at the Center for Photography Woodstock in the summer of 2008. Dawood was teaching a portraiture workshop to teens, adults, and elders of the community. I was there as an artist in residence. 3 things happened to me on the day we met that I'll never forget about the importance of Dawood Bey as an artist, teacher, mentor, and master of photography. I noticed how he uplifted every participant. He could see the best abilities in each student and help them to believe in their own confidence to make their photographs. He took his time to speak to each one of them, helping them rise to their fullest potential. Dawood is such a charismatic teacher, a student could never fail. Through his actions and his reassuring tone of his voice, Dawood taught me to be a better teacher, to be patient, and to listen. When it came time for my studio visit with Dawood, he paused on one portrait of Mom and her boyfriend, Mr. Art, 2005, and asked me a series of questions about the rawness and intimacy of the image, which led to a small debate about how long it takes to capture the intimacy of a person and if it is necessary to know the subject personally. To prove his point, Dawood brought out his 4x5 camera and Polaroid film to make a portrait of me. In less than 15 minutes, Dawood captured 2 intimate portraits. He kept one and signed the other one for me to keep. He captured my humanity in a way that I had yet to depict in my own self-portraits. What amazes me about how Dawood arrived to photography was through his own observation, curiosity, and questioning of what's that all about, or what's going on, as he often asked fellow artists. He taught himself how to use the camera out of concern, compassion, and curiosity of fellow human beings and communities. There is an earnest, humble, and careful approach Dawood takes in the way he meets each individual and with the precision of each portrait he makes. With the prevailing threats to dismantle the entire public school system here in Chicago and across the US, along with numerous school shootings from Columbine, Sandy Hook, Parkland, to the recent STEM school in Highland Ranch, Colorado, I'm reminded of the dignity and intelligence each student wrote and spoke with about their lives in Dawood Bey's class pictures in 2007. When the murder of 9 African-American parishioners in Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina happened, the first artist I thought about was Dawood Bey. And there he was, with his response not only as an artist, but as a citizen, commemorating spirit-led human beings who had their lives cut short by the terror of white supremacy in his body of work, The Birmingham Project, which marked the 50th anniversary of the church bombing at the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. I deeply believe that Dawood Bey's commitment to humanity, preservation, restoration, and hope in nearly a 5-decade photographic and artistic practice, along with selfless commitment to teaching and mentoring multiple generations of artists, is the reason he is a national treasure. Thank you.
Dawood, you join us today to be recognized for your extraordinary contributions to contemporary art. Your photographs capture the images, emotions, and sensations of urban life, the African American experience, and the history of the United States. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce Department of Film, Video, New Media, and Animation, Associate Professor Frédéric Moffet, who will introduce our next honorary degree recipient, Isaac Julian.
So it's really an honor to introduce an artist and a filmmaker who has had such a deep influence on my practice and on the work of so many of my students. The cinema of Isaac Julian is a cinema in movement, a cinema of movement. From the onset of his long, illustrious career, the question of intersectionality has always been at the core of Julian's work. As a queer child raised in England by immigrant parents from St. Lucia who spoke French Creole to each other at home, Isaac Julian quickly understood what it means to embody multiple self and conflicting identities. Early student film explored the multiple territories that we all occupy: race, class, gender, sexuality, and nationality. These documentaries employed experimental strategies to investigate the systemic oppression that plagued Thatcher's England. But Julian approached these difficult issues with a singular touch, investigating political issues with a poetic lens. Nowhere is this more obvious than in his early masterpiece, Looking for Langston. Shot in lush black and white, he transformed the stereotypical ways the media usually looks at the black male body. Here, the gaze is reciprocal. It's filled with longing and desire. In this film, Julian leaves his native England and lands in 1920s Harlem Renaissance in New York City. But soon time and space morph, returning the audience to the late 80s, the emerging AIDS pandemic, and the violence of racism outside and within the gay community. In Julian's work, the angel of history is always flying toward the future with its head toward the past. For over 35 years, Julian has charted a singular and innovative path, opening new doors for artists that came after him. After directing his first feature film, Young Soul Rebel, and winning the prestigious Semaine de la Critique Prize at the Cannes Film Festival, Julian pioneered multi-screen film installations for galleries, museums, and major international exhibitions. In several projects, the actress Vanessa Miri is a frequent presence. She is an explorer, a witness, a guide, wandering through breathtaking landscapes steeped in complicated histories. His recent project, Lesson of the Hour, is a 10-screen meditation on the life of the writer, abolitionist, and freed slave Frederick Douglass. Here, several of Douglass's speech are reenacted at London's Royal Academy of Arts in front of an audience composed of actors playing 19th century characters as well as contemporary scholars. The angel of history is always in motion. Isaac Julian is an educator, a Turner Prize-nominated artist, a commander of the most excellent order of the British Empire, a participant at the Venice Biennale and Documenta, and with works in the collection of the Tate, MoMA, and Centre Pompidou, among many other institutions. A key to and inspiring aspect of Julian's method is his willingness to constantly reconfigure his projects. He acts as a DJ, remixing his own body of work. A 9-channel installation is transformed into a 3-channel installation. A film for cinema is reinvented as an exhibition of still photography. In its many shapes and form, cinema is still his home. And in the cinema of Isaac Julian, we find the intersections of ourselves and others, always in movement, searching for our better angels. Thank you.
Isaac, you join us today to be recognized for your extraordinary contributions to the moving image in art and cinema. Through your films and installations, you draw together different times and intersectional identities, enriching our present moment. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce Department of Print Media Associate Professor Peter Power, who will introduce honorary degree recipient Chris Ware.
Good afternoon. Chris Ware has been publishing his drawings and writings, call them cartoons, graphic novels, call them art, since the late 1980s. First in Austin, Texas, where he was an undergraduate student, and since the early 1990s, from Chicago, where he has made his home for the past 3 decades. A hallmark of his work is the combination of beautiful draftsmanship, astute writing, and beautiful color and design, all in the service of a narrative that avoids the spectacular or the falsely heroic. His work, more often than not, depicts the domestic, the local, and the everyday, in all their mysteries, their miseries, and sometimes their majesty. Ware's eye for visual and emotional detail, both rough and smooth, inspired art critic Robert Hughes to describe Chris as the Bruegel of our times. 20 years ago, the New York Times wrote that Mr. Ware's comics heralded the arrival of a more rarefied genre, graphic literature. Even though his work is beautifully and reassuringly crafted, Chris has suggested that his cartoons are disposable, quick reads, firmly placing them in the lineage of the newspaper funny pages. Such contradictions and accompanying provocations are central to his work. The Guardian newspaper described his work as the art of the melancholy, and yet to many of us his work is, in all its honesty and wondrous objecthood, an uplifting companion as we stumble through our days. His work from the 1980s and the 1990s coalesced in the major publication Jimmy Corrigan, The Smartest Kid on Earth, which received an American Book Award in 2000 and firmly established his place in the national and international worlds of art, image, and word. What a good way to start the new millennium. His 2012 graphic novel, Building Stories, which Chris describes as lengthy and expensive, was named one of the top 10 fiction books of the year by New York Times and Time magazine, and Best Book of the Year by Publishers Weekly. Ware's work has been frequently exhibited in museums and galleries, including the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago, and our very own Art Institute of Chicago. He has often published in The New Yorker and collaborated with the groundbreaking radio program, This American Life. Chris's dedication to his craft and his generosity to others was evident to all when in 2016, Chris was appointed the William and Stephanie Sick Distinguished Professor at SAIC. During his tenure at the school, he was affiliated with the Department of Print Media, teaching a class and directing the production of a box set publication of student work. The commitment and kindness he shared with his students came as no surprise to me, as I have known Chris for almost 30 years. We arrived in Chicago in the same week, were studio mates for our graduate years, and have been friends ever since. Today the honor is all Chris's, but I'm also delighted. Delighted for our school, delighted for our graduating students, and delighted for our city. I'm grateful for all that Chris has contributed to the world of image and words. Thank you.
Welcome back, Chris. Your study at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago comes full circle today. Since that time, your groundbreaking comics have realized new potential for the medium, both aesthetically and conceptually. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts.
And now it's my pleasure to welcome Department of Performance Professor Lynn Hickson, who will introduce honorary degree recipient and graduation speaker, Meryl Latterman-Euclides.
Everything I say is art. I'm going to say that again. Everything I say is art is art. So said Meryl Latterman-Euclides, a touchstone for the history of performance art, conceptualism, feminist critique, and community-based principles. She said these words in 1969 in her groundbreaking Manifesto for Maintenance Art. Through this act of naming, she used herself as a conduit. She looked outward to other bodies in society, drawing attention to the marginalized treatment of caretakers, particularly the labor of women in the domestic sphere and the maintenance workers that tirelessly keep our cities running. She cleaned and scrubbed art spaces. She asked 300 maintenance workers at the downtown Whitney Museum to consider their work as art for 1 hour. She exposed the hierarchies of labor within museums themselves. She questioned why the janitor or security guards' contributions were considered menial in relation to the works of curators, conservators, and artists. She spent 11 months shaking hands with New York City's 8,500 sanitation workers. She thanked each one for keeping New York City alive. She created mesmerizing, slow-moving work ballets that featured operators turning heavy machinery in choreographed motion. She paved the way for artists to become embedded in government and community organizations, being the first artist in residence for New York City's sanitation department. And most recently, in Fresh Kills, she's transforming a former sanitation landfill into a park on Staten Island. She describes the project as a 50-year-old social sculpture we have all produced. Meryl Latterman-Euclides redefines the meaning of power through repair and preservation. She creates new modalities of becoming, breaking down the barriers between people and the systems that contain them. She has made a lifelong project of reimagining a civic space for all of us, in which we meet one another under the constant care of rebuilding. Thank you.
Meryl, you join us today to be recognized for your transformational vision for art and for your life's practice as a maintenance artist, which continues to resonate with citizen artists throughout the world. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts. So, please join me in welcoming Meryl Laderman-Euclides as our 2019 commencement speaker.
Hi. Can you hear me all back there? Can you? Okay. My deepest thanks for this honor, and bravo to my three honored colleagues, Dawood Bey, Isaac Julian, and Christopher Ware. Wow, I am in awe of each of you. I dedicate this honor to you, Jack Euclides, my soulmate, my beloved, my chief supporter. We made our lives together. Perhaps this has been our greatest creation. We are utterly blessed with each other and with our incredible children and grandchildren. Me in art schools. In 1963-64, I'm in graduate school at Pratt. I'm doing fine. I'm in shows, win an award right away. My main graduate teacher, Robert Richenberg, is so inspiring and completely supportive. I make my first original works as an artist that I name bindings. I think they are abstract pods of caught energy, pure energy. Richenberg praises them and shows them. Then the dean and the chairman call them pornographic. She's oversexed. They tell him, "You've got to stop her." He continues to show them. They fire him. He loses his house. We demonstrate, it peters out. I'm not kicked out, I'm shunned. I quit, losing 28 graduate credits. I go home to Colorado to recover. I come back, go to NYU, and get a master's degree in 1973 in interrelated arts. Precious graduates, am I going to say to you, how will you make a living? You could starve to death. This is what my mom said to me when I was in graduate school. What did I say back to her? I said, not knowing what I was talking about, "Oh, Ma, it'll be all right." Today, I am bound to you, even though we don't know each other, because we are crossing this momentous threshold together. I am thinking about the great leap you will make tomorrow into the world. I want to talk about 3 key main ideas in my work. They are personal. They have to be personal. The ideas are: 1, freedom; 2, believe in the core of you as creator. Trust yourself. 3, take risks. Do it. 1, freedom. I am wild about the public domain because we all own it. It is ours. Each person is unique, period. Each person is an entire world and has infinite value. Each person is different from all the people who ever lived. Art is freedom, freedom of unique human expression. Its processes, infrastructure, form, system, duration, location, its inhabitants, its any material whatsoever, is the choice of the creating artist. Freedom is welling up, flowing out everywhere. Yet in many places, even here in the USA, freedom is falling away, inchoate, manipulated, trapped in shapelessness, worse. You, creators, at this incredible time, have particular gifts and talents to offer. You know how to conceive, to invent, to design, to articulate, to build, to craft. You could bend all these gifts to shape freedom. And don't misunderstand, I'm not only talking about big shaping, loud voices. I mean also the still, small voice, oceanic in the depths of its private interiority, within a person, perhaps seeking to open a world of freedom within oneself. 2, believe in the core of you as creator. Trust yourself. I became an artist to be free, to get the levels of freedoms that I received from my Western culture artist heroes. Freedom of the body to act within the artwork from my uncle Jackson Pollock. Freedom to name and to rename from my grandfather Marcel Duchamp. Freedom to pass from one dimension to another from my uncle Mark Rothko. You might notice the genders. I struggled for years to win this freedom as artist. In 1968, out of free choice and great blessing, we had a baby. I became a mother, a maintenance worker. I discovered that Jackson, Marcel, and Mark didn't change diapers. I fell out of their picture. When I was changing my 100th diaper, I felt my well-educated brain saying, "So long, I'm leaving now. I wasn't cut out for this. I have to do something new." Yet I loved this baby madly. I wanted to do anything for her to thrive. Twirling, I was in full crisis. I felt like two people in the same body, the free, unfettered artist and the mother maintenance worker. I was never working so hard in my life to keep everything together. Yet people who met me pushing my baby carriage often asked, "Do you do anything?" Falling, falling, twirling. I chose maintenance. Yet maintenance in 1968 had no words, no language, no culture, no honor. I was so angry. Me? Click. An honest-to-God, blazing epiphany. If I am the boss of my freedom, then I name maintenance art. I can collide freedom into its opposite. I name necessity art. I name survive art. In a quiet rage, in one sitting in October 1969, I wrote the Manifesto for Maintenance Art, 1969. Proposal for an exhibition called Care. I don't have to shape up to received notions of the artist. If I rename what is art and what is the artist, it is art that must change. It is art history that must change. Why is this art? Because I say so. My first job after this realization My first job after this realization to re-see the whole world, like my baby. In twirling and falling, a door opened for me to the whole world. The Manifesto and Care is a world vision, personal, society, the planet. It is a call of revolution for the workers of maintenance. These are the workers of survival. Note, this is not the art of the happy cleaner. My ambivalence is extreme. I choose to sit on the fault line between freedom and necessity and bang these two clanging opposites together, always questioning boundaries, pushing boundaries, trying to change them. 1977, I end up in the Department of Sanitation in New York City, the major leagues of the maintenance world. I spend 1.5 years listening and learning and getting a lot of permissions. My first artwork, Touch Sanitation, a remapping performance to reveal the city's living maintenance underbelly, person to person. I attempt to build a coalition, maintenance workers inside who keep the home and family, with sanitation workers, keepers of the outside city as home. Wholeness. I face each of 8,500 sanitation workers, all male at that time. Shake hands and say to each person, Thank you for keeping New York City alive. Always working an 8-hour, often a 16-hour performance workday, walking out the city with them. We are fused in anger, pissed off. My own anger puts me on solid ground. They recognize this. They are furious that people see them as part of the garbage, as if it's their fault. It takes 11 months. Guess what I find in my 10 sweeps around the city? No language, no culture, very little honor. It's 1979. I'm at a landfill in Brooklyn, standing next to the truck on the flattened garbage with the Sandman just after he dumped his load. We shake hands. I say, thank you for keeping New York City alive. He says, can I tell you a story? Sure, lots of stories. 17 years ago, we were picking up in Brooklyn. It was very hot, very humid in the 90s. We sat down to rest on this lady's porch steps after we loaded her garbage. She opens the door. Get away from here, you smelly garbage men, she says. I don't want you stinking up my porch. Then he says to me, for 17 years, that stuck in my throat. Today, you wiped that out. Now, to me, that was the best thing that ever happened to me as an artist. I was ecstatic, out of my mind. But then he said something else to me. Will you remember that? Does he think I'll forget about it in a moment or two? I felt he was charging me. Look, artist, do something. So in 1984, to remember that, I created a performance called Cleansing the Bad Names. With sanitation, we sent out a telex from headquarters all over New York City to all sanitation facilities and garages. Send us the worst defamatory names you have ever been called on the street. They poured in. We got hundreds of names. I rebuilt the ladies' porch on the steps of the entrance to the Feldman Gallery in Soho. With preparators, we painted the bad names along 75 feet of big glass windows. I invited 190 people from all sectors of society to wash off the bad names. Many sanitation workers and their families were in the audience, and many tears flowed that day. Art can play history over again and make it come out right. I invite you to respect your unique core as a creator and never feel you have to give it up. 3, take risks, do it. The beauty and terror of working up to and over the edge. 1983, I'm invited to create the grand finale of the first New York City Art Parade, 32 blocks down Madison Avenue. I propose a 3-part work. The second part was ballet mécanique for 6 mechanical sweepers. After months of negotiations, I get 6 of sanitation's best mechanical broom operators released from regular work for 3 days of rehearsals at the Sanitation Driver Training Center on Randall's Island in the East River, plus 1 day to meet and plan, and a day for final rehearsal. First day, we meet in a little wooden building on the edge of the field. No one knew each other. I heard they were so fantastic, so devoted to their jobs, that they simonize their sweepers. We look at each other. One driver says, "Okay, tell us what to do." That was natural. That's the way they work in the paramilitary structure of sanitation. I gulp. I say, "No, I'm not your supervisor, not your boss. I really admire your skills. Nothing is planned. I hope we can come up with something together. I can't tell you what to do. This is a blank canvas." It goes silent. Silence. I stare at the floor. Inside my head, a meter is ticking. Inside, I'm shaking. Do something. You have 3 days. You're going to make an idiot out of yourself. So scared. Silence. But in the pit of my stomach, I knew what to do. Keep your mouth shut. I say to myself, I don't know what I would do, what would happen, but I knew that. Silence. They look at the floor. They have to know that I mean it. I'm not their boss. This isn't a pre-cooked formula. They look shocked. Why am I taken off work to sit here with some artist who doesn't even know what we should do? An eternity. I come to understand what is my art at that moment. My art is to create a space among us that was empty, emptied of the system's authority. Make a space for freedom among us. Let this freedom rise among us. Then we can all work to create together. For a brief moment, I broke their work world's structure of authority. Suddenly, a driver says, "We could do this move." "Nah," says another one, "we should do that." Soon, the movement ideas, stashed away and stored up in powerful imaginations of people who are attached to mighty machines, started to fly. "Kiss brooms." I piped in with some ideas also. They looked at me dubious. "Okay, I got some." We went outside and they got into their vehicles. We worked like crazy. The art parade began near sundown. During the parade, the sun had set, and by the end, it was night. The moon rose high, crystal clear in the dark. The pulsing lights from the sweepers created a kind of light work, black and white chevrons on the rear of the moving white sweepers with their yellow and red lights blinking and rotating. This was the constructivist palette come to life. The drivers were spectacular. We made magic. We sailed down Madison Avenue, owning the street. There have been failures too, or what might end up failures, or might not. Since 1989, I'm still slogging through my Percent for Art Award for Fresh Kills in New York City, once the largest municipal landfill on earth, trying to add my vision to transform the degraded land into a park. I invite you to visit my permanent work, Landing. One day, hanging on to that one since 2006. So, dear ones, what am I asking from you? Treasure what you have had here at SAIC. Am I asking you to be a maniac for your work, for your art, for freedom, for the planet? Yes. In the end, in the dark, in the terror of not knowing, trust your gut feelings. Ride out the failures. Many things don't happen, might not work out. Take risks. Go. Believe in yourself and your freedom to create. That's what we have. And that's how we create democratic culture. That's the gift we give to this troubling, besieged, magnificent, thrilling, adored, scary world that awaits you. Imagine a line on the ground in front of you. The line is shimmering. Imagine it is the threshold to your tomorrow. Imagine stepping across and calling out, "Aha!" I invite you to call out, "Aha! Aha! Come on! Aha!" Thank you.
Thank you, Merrill, for that moving address. It is now time to provide Drs. Bay, Julian, Euclides, and Ware with some fellow graduates. Before we begin conferring degrees to those students with us today, I would like to take a moment to honor a BFA candidate who ought to be here, but sadly is not, Don Washington. As many of you know, Don passed away last month. Don was philosophical and passionate, loyal to friends, and in love with studying at SAIC and with the city of Chicago. Don's family is in the audience today. Would you please stand and be recognized? On behalf of everyone at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, we are glad that you could join us today. We are grateful to have known Don, and we shall forever be honored to have awarded Don Washington a posthumous Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Thank you. Now, to present the candidates for graduate degrees and post-baccalaureate certificates, I am pleased to introduce Dean of Faculty Jefferson Pinder and Dean of Graduate Studies Arnold Kemp.
Good afternoon. It is now time to present the master's degree candidates, followed by the certificate candidates. We would like to present all the candidates for the degrees of Masters of Fine Arts in Studio, Masters of Fine Arts in Writing, Master of Arts in Administrations and Policy, Master of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Art Therapy and Counseling, Master of Arts in Modern and Contemporary Art History, the dual degree of Masters of Arts in Modern and Contemporary Art History and Masters of Arts in Arts Administration and Policy, Masters of Arts in Teaching, Masters of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies, Masters of Arts in New Arts Journalism, Masters of Arts in Science and Historic Preservation, Masters of Degree in Design Objects, Masters of Architecture, including those with emphasis in interior architecture, and the Masters of Design in Fashion, Body, and Garment. We ask that you refrain from applauding until the candidates have received their degrees. Okay, Master of Fine Arts in Studio. Jude Aguardo.
Ryan Allen.
Faisala Abdusari.
Riyan Ba.
Hadia Bedri.
Nick Bamford.
Iro Benuelos.
Kane Baum.
Cecilia Benanin.
Julie Bolt.
Bridget Borders.
Marie Ségolène Bro.
Danny Bradar.
Hannah Budding.
Yuhi.
Benjamin Cabral.
Soo-Young Cho.
Sarah Chen.
Dan DiLasiglio.
Killian Dunn.
Nathan Engel.
Yancy Fun.
Astro Esquedo.
Garrett Fees.
Mariam Farinani.
Julian Flavin.
Gibran Melvana.
Evan Fusco.
Shuhong Fu.
Annalie Goller.
Fran E. Gallagher.
Jean Gu.
Griffin Goodman.
Jen Falgun.
Sayun Guan.
Yasmin Hadni.
Pamela Hadley.
Rosemary Hall.
Efat Hakimi.
Wanbli Gamash.
Gloria Hen.
Christopher Lee Hare.
Ariam Antitaman.
Eden Hendricks.
Tamer Hassan.
Li Ming Hu.
Qingqing Huang.
Humin Huang.
Christopher Ramirez Wizard.
Carolyn Jacobson.
Vranslav Jankeki.
Ame Kataria.
E. Kung.
Jonathan Grot Crow.
L. Ku.
Celeste Kotovich.
David Michael David Kozowski.
Logan Krydener.
Thank you. Brittany Laurent.
Helen Lee.
Brian LaBeouf.
Sanjay Lee.
Kara Lehman.
Chloe Yunong Lin.
Elizabeth Loftus.
Aline Liu.
Itong Liu.
Joyce Lung.
Devin Manibo.
Catherine Mara.
Joshua M.G. McCormick.
Ye Ji Min.
Shin Miyake.
Soledad Munoz.
Maria Jose Murillo.
Juan Nera.
Alexandra Norman. Sorry.
Ed O.
Neil Patrick O'Malley.
Katie O'Neill.
Alberto Ortega.
Terry Owens.
Elise Parisian.
Gina Park.
Sanye Park.
Parveen Pevandi.
Alan Perry.
Marta Poggioli.
Pega Paslar.
Carlos Augusto de Oliveira.
Monica Poblete. Paulina Prosenko.
Eduardo Rosario.
Javier Robles Armas.
Douglas Rossman.
Latrell Rostand.
Danielle Salamanca.
Sarah Salas.
Robert Sawyer.
Anika Scruggs.
Ray Shah.
Wei Shin.
Shi Zhen.
Miji Shin.
Wu Jin Shin.
Jake Silby.
Zachary Sun.
Sky Tanya.
Becca Thomas.
Ali Tome. Yoi Wang.
Umema Basi. Udon.
Lariel Joy.
Katie Wood.
Carolyn Wood. Guanxi Young.
Colin Robertson.
Kier Young.
Chun Zen.
Sebum Young.
Jia Chi Zhang.
Cherry Yu.
Shirley Zhang.
Li Ying Zheng.
Jenny Emery.
Zhu Zheng.
Kate Pritchard.
Beiri Sun.
Leah Zheng.
Travis Mitzel.
Alex Keller.
Xiaomi An.
Hue Huang.
Wenxing Zhang.
Yuting Chang.
Madison Rose Young.
Su Jin Moon.
Ka Lu. Thank you. And now for the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Writing. Jamila Abubakari.
Anna Adami.
Itzel Basualdo.
Casey Carcel.
Ama Dieka.
Trisha Park.
Luca Piacentini.
Raghav Rao.
Sharanya Sharma.
Ree Sherwood.
Casey Sorrell.
Matt Tassel.
Emilio Williams.
Philip Mulliken.
And now for the degree of Masters of Arts in Arts Administration and Policy. Vicky Anton.
Ali Beck.
Yuting Ho.
Lee Holmes.
Intian Lin.
Caroline Ng.
Joseph Left Hand.
Vera Orozco.
Katie O'Reilly.
Aru Shaquille.
Itzi Pinyons. Janiela Itatsi. And now for the Masters of Arts in Arts Education. Alviena Bubuano. Thank you.
Chase Kaiser.
Ashley Lamb.
Kyla McLean.
Millie Mack.
Giselle Mera Diaz.
Todd Osborne.
Mira Rampali.
Kristen Roldan.
Saskia Fun Sang.
And now for the degree of Masters of Arts in Art Therapy and Counseling. Farah Al-Haida.
Leah Amaral.
Mikey Anderson.
Kyle Bernier.
Brianna Beck.
Neha Bat.
Annie Chang.
Margaret Davis.
Crystal Dino.
Trissa Dodson.
Allison Dowd.
Antoinette Eldemeyer.
Ruth Garrett.
Essence Jackson Jones.
Yuri Kim.
Susie Newman.
Okay.
Casey Pax.
Allie McCormick. Laura Oppenheimer. Jennifer Sullivan. Crystal Swenson. And now for the degree of Masters of Arts in Modern and Contemporary Art History. Madeline Benson.
Budgie Burka White.
Stephanie DeVarkis.
Celia Jung.
Kate McFadden.
Susan Mackey.
Yu Ren.
Egon Sheely.
Sandra Shim.
Jacob Jung.
Now for the dual degree, Master of Arts in Modern and Contemporary Art History and Masters of Arts in Arts Administration and Policy. Duncan Bass.
Lindsay Bell.
Carlos Cesar Lamont.
Selena Wu.
Chao Yen. Okay, now for the degree of Masters of Arts in Teaching. Kenyatta Floyd.
Nina Doriz.
Yan Gao.
Deborah Rajushko.
Arifa Ibrahim.
Lauren Ross.
Ellen Wojciechowski. Andrew Lavadier. Now for the Masters of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies. Leslie Frempong.
Zenia Ghazi.
Noel Kirsch.
Al Canodal.
Leandro Martinez.
Katie Niner.
Viviana De La Rosa. Thank you.
Lindsay Michelle Scott.
Rohan Allende Smith. Okay, and now for the Masters of Arts in New Arts Journalism. Catherine DeBacker.
Noel Jones.
Almania Nurula.
Marianne Schaefer.
Raksha Thakur.
Hailey Wan. Jaitan Shah.
And now for the Masters of Science in Historic Preservation. Alyssa Freistek.
Palak Shah.
And now for the Masters of Design and Designed Objects. Travis Hsu.
Sujit Joshi.
Kira Matiala.
Nan Chien.
Xin Ryan.
Muting Wang.
Carrie Wright.
Mayin Shi.
Haimi Young.
Lan Jun Chu.
Ren Bai.
Joey Hyang.
And now for the Masters of Architecture. Juliette Amu.
Chao Hua Chen.
Andrea Hunt.
Brian Coe.
Nadim Maroon.
Heidi Metcalf.
John Morris.
Anthony Piazza.
Nathan Rank.
Kekeli Suma.
Vince Tong.
Jesse Vargo.
Tin Lang Zhong.
Ying Lu.
And now for the Masters of Architecture with an emphasis in Interior Architecture. Tiziana Baldinambro.
Mary Briata.
Kevin DeGrice.
Danya Melendez.
Tavis Prukim.
Taylor Shepard.
Kathleen Estelle Trujillo.
Yen Ping Wen.
Biyun Feng. And now for the Masters of Design in Fashion, Body, and Garment. Atun.
Yan Yan Gao.
Sean Gu.
Catherine Hong.
Nat Lashaw.
Riley Liu.
Jungchi Ku.
Emily Shen.
Unkeen Pham. Now for the Post-Baccalaureate Certificate in Studio. Ellen Ngairo.
Diana Miera,
Ruth Poor,
Francisco Herrero,
Jade Williams. Now for the
Tatiana Zakaliuk,
Okay, now for the post-baccalaureate in fashion, body, and garment. Mei-Lu He,
Ju Wang,
Okay. I would like now to invite Felice Dublon, Vice President and Dean of Student Affairs, and Dawn Gavin, Dean of Undergraduate Studies, to the podium for the presentation of the bachelor candidates. Thank you.
We would now like to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio, Bachelor of Interior Architecture, Bachelor of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies, the consecutive Bachelor of Fine Arts and Bachelor of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies, the Bachelor of Fine Arts with emphasis in art education, the Bachelor of Fine Arts with an emphasis in writing, and the Bachelor of Fine Arts with an emphasis in art history. We ask that you refrain from applauding until all candidates have received their degrees. We begin with the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio. Mantos Adamaitis,
Harshita Agrawal,
Lian An,
Abdullah Al-Salam,
Natalie Aleman,
Maya Alfera Samos,
Cheyenne Sage Allen,
Zuhur Al-Sayed,
Wilson Allen,
Anna Andrade,
Anna Engrick,
Simran Al-Kulka,
Caterina Annunziato,
Leticia Auguste,
Siddharth Babani,
Kafan Bai,
Ethan Backlund,
Liz Bale,
Ming Rang Bai,
Zesu Bao,
John Baker,
Heidi Beckler,
Phaedra Bonchamp,
Isa Benete Lara,
Liz Bendera,
Jacob Bennett,
Heather Benner,
Zachary Binroth,
Bridget Bilbo,
Evan Booth,
Noah Billick,
Kala Bordy,
Brian Blossman,
Mimi Breves,
Megan Brabham,
August Brosnahan,
Brianna Rose Brooks,
Audrey Brown,
Stephanie Broussard,
Anna Boitrago,
Gabriela Brown Perez,
Emma Brzezinski,
Paige Burrow,
Rosalinda Cabrera,
Kaylin Avery Byers,
Griffin Callahan,
Ace Kalimlim,
Sora Candelario,
Chase Calloway,
Jackie Carlis,
Raishin Tsao,
Maya Cartland,
David Carrillo, Yuju Chai. Brian Cassidy. Sabrina Chan. Renee Chan. Ha-un Chan. Wento Chan. Bill Chan. Apurva Chanjiadia. Katrina Chen. Brenny Chen. Olivia Chen. Lisa Chen. Anita Chen. Shuang Chen. Michael Chen Shou. Yi Chun Chang. Angela Cho. Phoebe Chin. Eunice Chi San Choi. Claire Choi. Ivy Choi. Unju Misty Choi. Susie Choi. Pil J. Choi. Jenny Chu. Connie Chung. Grace Chung. Soil Chung. Driel Ko. Ricardo Cobian. Jenny Collins. Emma Collins. Henry Cook. Yaz Contractor. Irene Cordovez. Elisa Cordovez. Lorraine Criswell. Emma Crane. Aaron Delaney. Liam Daly. Gurunge Desai. Joseph Dupre. Sophia Diaz. Sarah Dezara. Kirsten Donovan. Rosebud Deach. Norris England. Richard Domenico Eller. L. Erickson. Sophia Karina English. Jack Ferenbacher. Catherine Iremia. Caitlin Ferrogia. Chang Si Feng. Ashley Frida. Zachary Fontenot. Jackie Freed. Hazel Fricky. J.B. Fry. Raphael Freeland. Cass Fuller. Siyu Fu. Megan Gimbrell. Kit Gallagher. Nike Garcia. Nick Garcia. Austin Gladney. Josephine Gatesy. Samuel Thomas Goebel. Zhe Jin Gao. Valerie Gorski. Ona Gleichman. Johan Go. Gustavo Gonzalez. Elsa Hannebarger. Angel Gu. William Harvey. Zachary Harwood. Michelle Hahn. Harvey Hayes Bohannon. Tig Hart. Jackie Hernandez. Ryan Hadelberg. Morgan Hill. Will Hensey. Jeannie Hong. Jesus Hilaro Reyes. Dylan Arthur Howard. Eun Pyo Hong. Rowan E.K. Howe. Misha Hook,
Aichi Shu,
Gabriel Howell,
Kevin,
Elaine Sue,
Elena Huang,
Catherine Hu,
Samantha Hultberg,
Audrey Hoy,
Grace Huang,
Anna Hun,
Ho Jing Him,
Suyeon Wang,
Morgan Italy, Suzanne Yaboinski,
Angelica Iglesias, Colleen Ishida,
Nicholas G,
Kira Jackson,
Sierra Jiang,
Guinevere Jen,
Mohan Jiang,
Hannah Jung,
Sophie Jiang,
Shawi Jung,
Brian Johnson,
Joyce Zhao,
Mana Iritich,
Sala Johnson,
Jamie Kang,
Katz,
Yi Kang,
Lee Kung,
Mert Karamola,
Maria Karaman,
Laura Kasner,
John Casarda,
Daphne Kainak,
Avel Kaur,
Avantika Kana, Elizabeth
Clark
Kong,
Kirkman,
Ryan Kiefer,
Natalie Rachel Khalif,
Will Kim,
Andre Kidd,
John Kim,
Alex Kim,
Kon Young Kim,
Elaine Kim,
Tae Hyung Kim,
Hyo Kim,
Emily Crease,
Kyle Kim,
Chelsea Cook,
Yeon Seok Kim,
Chi Young Kwan,
Hyunju Kwak,
Victoria Lando,
Yasmin Lai,
Chase Lawrence,
Winnie Lau,
Dai Young Lee,
Angela Lee,
Hun Sung Lee,
Ho Soo Lee,
Patricia Lee,
Jin Lee,
Siu Lee,
Soo Yeon Lee,
Victor Sungro Lee,
Soo Jung Lee,
Stephanie Lim,
Urim Lee,
Betty Lee,
Lucy Leap,
Lydia Liang,
Keshin Lee,
Jessica Lin,
Helen Lang,
Yi Oli Lee,
Ji-hyun Lim,
Elizabeth Lira,
Sini Lin,
Jungpeng Lee,
Antonio Cerise Linman,
Lucy Liu,
Caroline Lee Liu,
Julia Lopez,
KK Lui,
Janet Lopez,
Cecilia Liu,
Chow Lo,
Brooke Lord,
Claire Lyons,
Markeisha Liu,
Johan Ma,
Pingyu Ma,
Jackson Gonzalez Magnaya,
Evan Mack,
Andre Marin,
C. Trevor Manika,
Ina Luis Mataya,
Isa Martinez,
Simon Quiles,
Gianna McCarthy,
Emmeline Mele,
Haley McDonald,
Anna Mielnichuk,
Paloma Mercier,
Sora Min,
Eliana Miller,
Sonny Moon,
Yoon-hee Min,
Taylor Morgan,
Thomas Moore,
Fatah Mulya,
Deja Moten,
Boyoung Nam,
Rachel Mervihill,
Nicole Nino,
Anna Grace New,
Anastasia O'Connor,
Lauren Oberlin,
Maddie Olson,
Angela O,
Olivia Abajowski,
Christian Giovanni Ortiz,
is it my turn? Sophia
Howard O. Young,
Sophia Guadalupe Paget Perez,
Tara Parambi,
Alia Parasha,
Ambrose Park,
Chen Park,
Junhoon Park,
Suju Park,
Yunju Chloe Park,
Carla Penn,
Kylie Payne,
Chung Peng,
Yili Peng,
Marcos Perez,
Alejandra Perez,
Marina Porta Perez,
Kiani Pleasant Bay,
Anthony Presley,
Kelly Potts,
Victoria Bethany Ramos,
Dan Chow,
Grace Yen,
Allison Ann Ramirez,
Jacob Robos,
Evgenia Riva Ozarova,
Rafael Rivas,
Zive Aleta Ren.
Sarah Rose.
Cecilia Reynolds.
Sarah Roth.
Alejandra Rivero.
Ankita Sagal.
Eugenia Rossi.
Kendra Savage.
Madeline Russin.
Elise Scarebeak.
Jillian Sander.
Shikha Shah.
Lucien Scanlon.
Baohua Shang.
Elise Sade.
Sarah Sidani.
Elin Shea.
Rudra Daman Singh.
Abby Shute.
Samuel Edmund Snodgrass.
Raquel Silva.
Leah Solomon.
Simran Singh.
Esther Sun.
Isabel Sola.
Hyang Song.
Aiden Solway.
Rachel Speakman.
Amanda Song. Joshua Spellman Hall.
Kason Spinazzola.
Jeremy Sabluski.
Jasmine Manolo Sullivan.
Jialing Song.
Mingche Tara Sun.
Ping Chen Nico Sun.
Jui Song.
Lauren Sustin. Pratush Swarup.
Kinga Shopinska.
Camille Shidlow.
Haley Stavik.
Kyla Taborda.
Jubilee Tai.
Ray Tang.
Rachel Tani.
Anlin Tao.
William Tenike.
Kyle Tang.
John Tomyer.
Jay Tucker.
Shingdi Tong.
Martell Tinsley.
Chris Sai.
Asya Turawa.
Jack Van Boom.
Paloma Valencia.
Victoria Vanderpool.
Zachary Vandenberg.
Camila Vasconez.
Valerie Vass.
Michaela Vaughn.
Carolina Velez Munez.
Nicole Vanderlyn.
Nick Violde.
Bella Walters.
Jess Glass Walsh.
Jing Wong.
Jiadong Wang.
Juki Wang.
Mu Chen Wang. Roxanne Tingy Wong.
Song Ha Wong.
Karen Wong.
Yutsi Suki Wong.
Saxon Wong.
Jessica Warren.
Roshen Wei.
Sabrina Wen.
Yan Wen.
Sam White.
Sarah White.
Quinn Wilbert.
Theo Williams.
Amy Wilson.
Katie Wittenberg.
Ash Wolf.
Lindy Wong.
Jimmy Wu.
Valerie Wong.
Si Wu.
Christy Wu.
Ding Shu.
Aria Wu.
Raven Shu.
Jifan Jia.
Joy Shi.
Feng Yu Shu.
Yumeng Yan.
Snowshoe.
Yeji Yang.
Ihan Xuan.
Nicole Yi.
Jingwei Yang.
Yuna Yi.
Ija Yi.
Stella Yu.
Hill
Nicole-
Im.
Nicole Yun.
Chan Song Yun.
Sahyun Yun.
Song Bin Yun.
Cassandra Yu.
Charlie Young.
John Yu.
Feng Jin Yu.
Nancy Chu.
Nan Yu.
Carla Zamudio.
Alton Yu.
Catherine Zhang.
Teresa Chen Zhang.
Chongjia Sang.
Cassie Young.
Mu Jiang.
Lisa D. Zing.
Sao Yung Richard Zhang.
Nina Zhang.
Yu Zhang.
Sophia Zhang.
Hong Ying Zhou.
Charlotte Zhu.
Zifan Shu.
Yuri Yuan.
Suzanne Ri.
Christopher McAfee.
Kaylin Pierce Coggins.
Jeanette Rodriguez.
Amy Long.
Paris Lee.
Minus Lu.
Jinhee Jiang.
Lily Kim.
Ethan Mertz.
Lexi Sakali.
Pei Ching Zhang.
Chin Yui Cho.
Justin Wong.
Elizabeth Masterman.
Sanjana Mehra.
Eli Merritt.
Iris Hong.
And now for the Bachelor of Interior Architecture. Richard He.
Wanyui Cho.
And now for the Bachelor of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies. Hannah Cusimano.
Madison Davidson.
Daniel Gomez Dugan.
Isabel Riquezes.
Diana Rue.
Isaki Ueno.
Chin Shan Wan.
Gabriel Welsh.
Max Hart.
I'm beginning to enjoy it.
And now for the consecutive Bachelor of Fine Arts and Bachelor of Arts in Visual and Critical Studies. Sonia Cheng. And now for the Bachelor of Fine Arts with an emphasis in art education. Elena Bakaluka.
Madison Bree.
Caroline Batala.
Evelyn Chow.
Eunbi Claire Cho.
Kelly Mulligan.
Jayla Neely.
Mary Claire Pelch.
Ziwei Zhou. And now for the Bachelor of Fine Arts with an emphasis in writing. Imani Love Dilts.
Ivana Gatita.
Ulysses Gertis.
Brad Gallagher.
Pascal Jarvis.
Cherish Harbor.
Diamond Woods.
Flynn Mixdorf.
And now for the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Art History. Monica Loftman.
Abigail Mandel.
Yi Hong Lu. Please join us in congratulating all of the bachelor's candidates.
While I find my place. And now, the conferral of degrees. Will the master's and certificate candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you your degree or certificate as appropriate to your curriculum with all the rights, privileges, and responsibility pertaining thereto. seated. Will the bachelor's candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Board of Trustees of the Art Institute of Chicago, I now confer upon you your degree as appropriate to your curriculum with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, the class of 2019. You're extraordinary.